A former U of L basketball star was arrested for DUI.
WDRB's Valerie Chin explains why he was jailed even though he was below the legal limit. Val?
There's a Kentucky law where you can be charged even if you pass a breathalyzer. Russ Smith, the former U of L basketball star and owner of Mr. and Mrs. Bourbon Company, jailed over the weekend. Smith is charged with DUI, reckless driving, and having unregistered plates.
Field sobriety tests are designed for people to fail them. They're not a scientific test, and they are created so that it permits police to arrest. He passed every one of them.
LMPD arrested Smith early Sunday morning just after midnight. Near the intersection of Baxter and Highland Avenues, police say Smith made an illegal U-turn in a 2018 Maserati. But his attorney, Steve Romine, says that's not what happened.
There was either an accident or an arrest on Bardstown Road almost directly in front of where he's at, and he turned left into a parking lot. So he's not in the middle. There's police lights and sirens, ambulance. He turns left into a parking lot to not pull up into what is maybe an accident scene or a crime scene or whatever. And they claim it's a U-turn. The surveillance footage shows it's not. He's turning left into a parking lot.
Detectives say they saw Smith drive across several lanes and onto a crosswalk. Officers say they smelled alcohol, and Smith admitted before driving he had 2 bourbon pours neat, which means the bourbon wasn't diluted. The arrest report says Smith also failed a walk and turn test and swayed when he was asked to step out of the car. But police say he passed other parts of the test. This Kentucky law says drivers can still be charged, depending on the other facts of the case, if the blood alcohol content is 0.04 or higher, but below 0.08.
The officer is making judgments and using discretion at the scene as to whether or not to charge somebody with driving under the influence. Doesn't matter what the reading is.
I mean, I've had multiple people that were 0.0s. They arrested him anyway.
The arrest says Smith took a breathalyzer test at the scene and blew a 0.06. He took another at jail, and his level had climbed to 0.073, which is below the legal limit.
It really begs the question of why even have these tests and why even have a legal limit if the police just ignore them and arrest you anyway.
And what does Russ Smith want to say?
Again, Russ was so incredibly polite and gracious. Even when he's being taken to jail on, something he didn't do, that's the kind of person he is.
Romine says Smith did have expired tags that happened while he was playing overseas and should have taken care of them. He says that's usually just a ticket. Valerie Chin, WDRB News.